Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you, my dear friends, have wandered onto the Prog Corner, the #1 prog rock channel on YouTube, according to me. Anyway, today, boys and girls, cats and kittens, oh boy, I got a good one to talk to you guys about. It's the brand new album from IZZ. This is their 10th album. It's called Collapse the Wave. Yeah, IZZ is a band that was formed in New York City in 1996. They proceeded to drop their first album in 1999. It was called Sliver of a Sun. It was all right. They hadn't quite figured it out yet. They didn't have female vocals in the band at that point. I came to IZZ from their 2005 album My River Flows and the amazing song Late Night Salvation. Wow, that's what turned me into a fan. 2009, The Darkened Room came out. Fantastic. Crush of Night in 2012 with the great Gary Green from Gentle Giant. And then in 2019, man, yeah, that one right there, Don't Panic. I thought that was their absolute best album. But now we've got a new one that's rivaling it. Is it as good as Don't Panic? Well, hold your horses. Let's find out. But first of all, talk a little bit more about the band. This is a band that's had some brushes, you know, with notoriety. They played Nearfest back in 2007. They opened for Big Train on several of their American dates. Their first North American dates, they had IZZ as their opener, so that's cool. What do they sound like? Well, a lot of people, you know, point to Yes as a reference point for this band, and I certainly get it. Their bright, shiny melodies and Rickenbacker bass and keyboard tones definitely recall Yes at certain points, but I also hear some Genesis, absolutely some Gentle Giant, so maybe the Beatles a little bit here in their pop sensibilities, Radiohead and their modernisms, and yeah, I just really enjoy this band a whole lot. They throw all that stuff into the stew, and it's all great. So like I said, the band is John and Tom Galgano. John is actually currently a member of Renaissance. He's their touring bass player. They're doing their final tour, and John's a part of that. His brother Tom, who plays keyboards and sings. So both the Galgano brothers sing. You got Paul Bremner on guitar. That guy is just awesome, man. You got two drummers in this band. You got Greg DiMichele and Brian Corleone. Sorry, Brian, I messed up Greg's name last week. I'm messing up your name this week. Usually has two female singers. Normally, you've got Laura Mead and Anne-Marie Burns. For some reason, you do not have Anne-Marie on this album. She is not here, which is kind of not a problem because, as I recall, Laura Mead was not on The Darkened Room. You know, so we've been in this situation before. I don't know what's going on with Anne-Marie. I think she's still in the band. Maybe she was just busy with family stuff. But it does clear up one of my problems with IZZ, right? You've got two male vocalists who are brothers, so clearly they already sing very similarly. And then you got two female vocals. I always had a problem with who's singing, man. You know, it always messes with my mind. I kind of got the Laura versus Anne-Marie thing figured out because of The Darkened Room where Laura Mead wasn't there, so I was able to really zero in, but I still can't tell the Galgano brothers apart. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Tom has the better voice. John, they say, has gotten better over the years. I really don't know, man. But anyway, let's talk about this album, Collapse the Wave, a little bit. The title implies, some kind of physics, right? This is a term from quantum mechanics, and it relates to the reduction of the state vector, also known as wave function collapse. And basically, all this really means is that when you observe something, it changes it. Right? Just the simple act of observation changes the thing. And I think that's apt for music where, you know, after Don't Panic, maybe the band was thinking, wow, maybe there's some eyeballs on us, now that weren't there before. So maybe there is that act of observation. And Andy Partridge talked about this after Skylarking, and he went to, do the next XTC album. And he said it was totally different because all of a sudden he realized there were eyeballs on him. There was observation, and the act of observing changes the thing at its very core. And here we go. There's 11 songs on this thing, and I like all 11 of them, man. The one thing that is maybe missing from this album that Don't Panic had was the big giant epic. 42 was just amazing and one of my favorite things IZZ ever did. But overall, this album is absolutely spotless, and it starts with a dynamite track called We Are the Third. It's like 8.5 minutes long. Starts out with a riff in A minor. Do 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 do. That riff, and then the 3-chord riff, which makes sense since We Are the Third. Those two building blocks build this whole song. It's talking about numerology or something like that. All I can figure out is somehow 3 lands somewhere between 2 and 4. Thanks for that. But it's a really energetic opener. It's really great. Ends with some keyboard tinkling, which kind of is picked up on the second track called So Many Voices, which starts with the keyboard. And I guess it's Tom probably singing here. And it's a very short track. It's less than 2 minutes long, but it is absolutely beautiful and powerful. And it builds up, and he's singing, "Isn't everyone supposed to be happy?" And it's just a powerful moment. You'll hear that again in a minute on another song where they pick that up. The third track is called Brace for Impact. It's only 4.5 minutes long, but it packs a whole bunch in here. It's a cool track because it kind of marries like icy cold 80s sounding keyboards with the crunchier 90s guitar. Really cool. The whole thing's based on a riff and beat. And then you get this weird Gentle Giant-like ending that I really like, very syncopated and weird. And somebody on Prog Archives was asking, is that Paul singing on this track? Maybe somebody from the band can answer that, because I don't know their voices well enough to figure that out. The fourth track is the one that really came around for me. It's called Deep Inside. It's 4.5 minutes long, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like that whole "you're such a rush" line that Laura's singing here. But it starts out on piano, playing a very traditional chord progression. You're going to E minor to G to D to A. Basically, that's the whole song. And then it stops, and then the acoustic guitar starts strumming those same chords. But then you get this really beautiful, clean Telecaster in the background playing a beautiful figure. And then this song just builds up and builds up. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. It's perfect. I absolutely love it. Next up is the title track, Collapse the Wave. It's a 7-minute long track that starts out almost like Latin jazz. It's really cool, little Latin jazz figure and beat. And it's a really long intro. You finally get vocals coming in at like the 2:30 mark, which is pretty cool. This is summer prog, man. This is going to be my summer album. This sounds like summer to me. Tropicala, maybe. There's no reggae in here, but you're definitely feeling a little bit of a Caribbean kind of vibe at times on this album, which I really, really dig. Just give me a reason. Just give me a chance. Oh, yeah. Great, great song. And then the song ends in like a weird double time. The last 30 seconds, that's just great. Next up is this is a good song. There's like 3 or 4 songs on this album that are going to be candidates for Song of the Year. And this is definitely one of them. It's called Sometimes Sublime. 6 minutes long. Starts with a finger-picked acoustic guitar, and we're toggling back and forth between F sharp minor and B minor, and it just sounds so good. Laura's singing, and Tom's keys in the background, just sprinkling beautifulness all over the top of it. It's peaceful. It's gorgeous. There's a little bit of Telecaster again in the mix, and then the piano comes in. And then as the song builds and builds and builds with Paul's wah-wah pedal, Tom's starting playing these chords. I love it when these crazy random chords up and down, the keyboards, just playing them high, then low, then in the middle. It's just awesome, man. It just adds like this chaotic and frenetic feeling to the song. Beautiful, awesome, perfect. I love it. Next up, There's Hope with an exclamation point. This is a weird one. Really, really herky-jerky, quirky, edgy, spiky kind of song with the bright, shiny kind of closed harmonies. Kind of Yes-like in that regard, absolutely. And John's bass, man, that Rickenbacker bass just going crazy on here. Very cool, making me think of Squire throughout. Laura sings some really weird lyrics in here. I'm going to right size, I'm going to downsize, I'm going to focus my eyes on the smaller prize. I'll be wise, I'm a capitalize to make my dreams more simplified. I'm going to bite size. I'm going to fun size. I'm going to exercise my right to minimize. I'm a prize. I'm a maximalize my need to keep my life pocket sized. A little twee, but it's not bad. Next up, the 8th track on the album is a 1-minute track called Brethren. It is basically just a showpiece for the 2 drummers. You know, there's 2 drummers in the band, so you might as well, you know, show what they can do. And that leads you into what is definitely my favorite song of 2024 so far. It's a little track called Not About Me. It's only 5 minutes and 11 seconds, but its emotional impact is just off the charts, man. Starts with the piano playing D with the figure over the top. And then his left hand goes down to C sharp. But that figure stays the same. Do, do, do. And then he's going don, 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 don. And then he goes down with the suspended. Then it goes right to it. So there's actually 3 chords there. It's just amazing. And if that isn't good enough, at the end of that, you get this weird stabbing electric, like, you know, like you're being electrocuted or something. It sounds like guitars, like 800 guitars mixed in there with some keyboards. It's just, how many times have you heard a record where there's something on there like, what is that? What is that sound? How did they make that? I haven't heard it in a while. I hear it here, and it perked my ears right up and got me right into this song. And now we're singing about, is everyone supposed to be happy again? It's just so dramatic and powerful, and it just picks up. And then towards the end of the song, Tom is singing, you lost the version of yourself you used to fight for at all costs. That line just hit me. I don't know why, man. That line just absolutely destroyed me. What a song, man. The album could have ended right there, but almost too much emotion, so you got a couple more tracks to bring you down a little bit. After all that drama and melodrama, you got a track called Soak Up the Sunshine, and it's absolutely perfect. It starts kind of with tropical guitars and tribal drums. It's very shiny and bright as the song gets going. Very weird chords in the chorus. You don't expect to hear those chords at all. It throws you off a little bit, but it's awesome. The thing that's really cool about this song is the syncopated 3 that they're in. The beat actually shows up on the 1 E and up, right? Not on the and, but on the like the last 16th note before 1. So it creates the beat right before the measure ends, creating a lot of inertia. Very cool, man. I love it. Then there's a really great synth solo on this track. It's so good they do it twice. And finally, the last song on the album is And We Will Go. Starts with like a King Crimson Discipline era guitar figure, but then it morphs into this really fast-paced 9/8. Awesome. Really great Rickenbacker bass all the way through this track, and Tom's keyboards in the background, but doing all kinds of great stuff. Very energetic track. The drumming here is really good. And then it just ends, right? It just abruptly ends mid-sentence and it's over. It's fantastic. This is my summer album. You know, every year you got to have one album that you take to the beach or whatever. This is absolutely it. So what's my score going to be on this puppy? I'm giving this bad boy 9 out of 10. Yeah. I could have gone perhaps to 9.5, but 9 out of 10 feels right. It's a dynamite album. And is it better than Don't Panic? Well, Don't Panic has that amazing title track and the side-long epic. I don't think they could ever top those 2 things, but this album gives it a run for its money, and overall, pound for pound, song for song, I think this is a better album, and I honestly think this is the best thing IZZ has ever done, and I absolutely adore it. Real briefly, a quick shout out to Ciro Perino for sending me the new Celeste CD. Awesome. Thank you, Ciro. Big fan of Celeste, big fan of Italian Prog. You guys know it. Anyway, Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, man. We're going to do something a little bit different where we're going to be focusing on prog metal. The 10 best prog metal albums of all time. Got an all-star cast we put together for this, so it's going to be amazing. Anyway, guys, I love you. Peace in the Middle East. Free Tibet. And you know what time it is. Oh, yeah, it's time to save the king. Save King Chucky. Oh, Chucky needs your saving. Yes, he does. He's got that cancer, boys and girls. He does. So bring him to America. Bring that boy to America. Make him swim. It'll be good for him. The exercise will do him some good. Then we'll lay some hands on him. Oh, yeah, we will. And then we're going to do spells and incantations. Our prayer warriors are working overtime. Then we're going to drink some poison. That ain't going to do us in. No, sirree, Bob. That son of a gun can dance with them snakes. Oh, yeah. That son of a bitch going to dance with snakes. And nothing's going to happen because we got the Spirit of the Lord. Absolutely. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Peace.